age of 34, when I said I'm going to quit my corporate job, is the day I retired. I was given an offer to shift to Chicago. We said no. There's this notion that anyone who goes abroad, you come back with a huge savings. Let me put that myth to rest. No.
When you did quit your job, what was your corpus looking like then?
It has grown at least about 3 to 4x.
You had planned for the career break.
2009 is when I took a sabbatical for a year. Financially, you will never retire. The day you say I've retired financially is the day you're dead.
Proudly part of the 01 network by Zerodha.
So Mayur, firstly, maybe if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to the audience.
About myself, old Bangalorean, been in Bangalore for almost 30 years. Did my bachelor's in business management in Bangalore. Then I went to London to do my MBA in international business and operations. Couple of years there. 2001, 2002 is when I came back to Bangalore again. So 2002 was my first job with Hindujas, and my salary when I joined was about 30,000. After about 2.5 years with them, I think 2004 is when I joined Xerox. My take home at that point was about 60,000. And then when I joined Infosys in 2006, I think my salary hike was about 70 to 80,000 a month. And when I quit Infosys, my annual take home was about 15 lakhs, so roughly about a lakh per month. When I was with Infosys, right, I was given an offer to shift to Chicago. That was around 2008 when the proposal came, and we said no. There's this notion that anyone who goes abroad and comes back, you come back with a huge savings, or you come back with a chunk. Let me put that myth to rest. No. When you're living abroad, you're almost hand to mouth kind of a situation. We kind of listed down what our expenses are. Staying in Bangalore, salary, living expenses, rentals. We listed out all our expenses, numbers, and what is your saving. We did the same comparison if we were to move to the US. I was drawing about 12 to 15 lakhs as salary here. Had I moved to the US, maybe it would have been about 20, 25 lakhs. The difference was about 10 lakhs. When you put the same numbers and say, okay, your expenses there versus what is your saving potential, it wasn't much. So that made it even more easier for us to take the decision saying, is it really worth going there and slogging it out? Over a period of time, that number would have definitely increased. But we kind of took a decision not to. But the second important factor also was that our parents were here, called me a emotional, sentimental, grounded fool. For my family is very important. So that kind of made it easy. We kind of also had this plan that say in 5 years or 6 years, I'm going to quit. We kind of had a back-end calculation of sorts. We said, okay, if you were to quit in 6 years, so this is the corpus that you need. And everything got fast forwarded by 3 years. 2009 is when I took a sabbatical for a year. And then I said, okay, let me do photography. And that 1 year has now turned into 15 years of starting Agna Productions and no looking back whatsoever.
In 2009, when you did take the decision to quit your job, what was your corpus looking like then, your personal corpus, and how has it grown till now?
The corpus back then was about 50 lakhs is what we had kept aside. It has grown at least about 3 to 4x. Had I continued my job, maybe the growth wouldn't have been so much. But I think with the business, we're in a much better position.
You also mentioned that you had planned for the career break. What prompted the preponement, if I had to say, of the decision?
Had I continued, the dream of doing something on my own or moving out of the comfort zone would have never happened. But there were also key things there. Right? One was that we had a sufficient corpus saved up. Safety net is there. Second, the condition that my family had was that you got to give yourself a year. And in that 1 year, if your revenue matches your Infosys salary today, then you continue. Else you go back to the corporate life.
Did you meet that first year revenue target? And how is the revenue looking like right now?
So year one, we had a target of 15 lakhs, which was my Infosys salary. And we hit the target in less than 8-9 months. First year revenue was around 20 lakhs. And over the years, we have at least grown 10x.
So when the revenue comes in, how do you plan or invest that money?
So I'll give you a very simple breakdown. We try to keep our expenses in about 40%. Everything inclusive, right? Rentals to your team, the crew, everything. Then we park about 20 to 30% as savings. I'm talking from a business perspective. 10% of our revenue for CSR, as you call it. And then we roughly keep about 10% is your long-term planning. And then the rest is there for your day-to-day expenses and stuff. And I would also like to mention that it was this financial planning that helped us sail through pandemic. Everyone in the team got their salary paid on time. Though we were not using the office space, rents were paid on time, taxes were paid on time. And all that came from the planning.
How has your personal finance investment approach changed over the years? What it was when you started and what it is now?
When I started my corporate journey, I was very lucky to have a good financial advisor. He said, okay, first year, blow the money. You want to travel, whatever, just blow that money. I'm not going to ask you for a penny. But year two onwards is when you're going to start investing. And he put me on this whole plan. Now you're not married, you're single. So let's start with savings for yourself. Started off with 2,000 bucks a month. Never touched that money. That kind of grew. Every time there would be a bonus or a lump sum coming in, you just say, fuck it. 2004 is when I got married. Priya, my wife, was also working at that time. She was with HP. Whatever her salary was, we took a decision. We are not going to touch that salary. And that went straight into her savings. And with every phase of my life, when the salary hike happened, the plan changed when I had kids. So it has been a gradual progression since then.
Most people, including me as well, plan my financial goals a little more goal wise. Do you have some sort of a strategy like that in place?
My entire planning is kind of divided into couple of buckets. One is mine and Priya's retirement. Second is kids' education. It's very clear that, okay, I'm going to save so much money. If they want to go study, the money is there. No, I don't want to study, I want to travel, the money is there. And then the third bucket would essentially be to kind of indulge. The ratios keep changing. When we started investing, most of the investment went into debt instruments. So it was roughly about 60 to 70% was in debt and the balance was in equity. I do not invest in shares. My only investment is in mutual funds for a couple of reasons. One, I do not have the patience, nor do I have the skill set. So I strongly believe let the experts manage it. But over a period of time, right, as your corpus also kind of builds, the safety, slowly your risk appetite kind of increases. So it has changed over a period of time. Today, say about 50 to 60% in equity and debt. This thing.
Of course, you spoke about retirement as a bucket, right? So, what are your retirement plans? Do you think you want to retire anytime soon? Do you have a specific age in mind? Do you have a specific monetary value in mind?
I'm already retired.
Okay.
So at the age of 34, when I said I'm going to quit my corporate job and start photography or Agna Productions, is the day I retired. Financially, you will never retire. The day you say I've retired financially is the day you're dead. Okay, that's very important because escalation, cost of living, everything is going to keep going up, 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 up. You will never stop. If you stop, then that's the biggest mistake that you do.
I think that's an interesting thing which you've mentioned, that you retired at 34 when you quit your job. Would that sort of put in play that your current job is your retirement?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a job, right? It's not a job. It's something which I love doing. I can take a break when I want. I can travel. I can pick projects that we like.
So, Mayur, let me ask you this. What is enough money?
There is no limit to having money. It all depends on how much you want to have, right? To answer that question straightforward, can you sleep comfortably in the night? Are you able to spend time with your family without compromising on anything? Are you satisfied with what you do? If these three questions are answered, I think you're happy.
So, I think on that unique proposition, let me ask you this. What advice would you give someone who is at like 30, 35 years old in terms of how they should proceed with their future?
First advice that I definitely want to give, always have your financial security in place. Very important. The minute your bank balance depletes, all your dreams, aspirations just goes through the roof. So have that in place. Explore. Until the age of 35, 36, you can still take the risk. Post 40, you are at a stage where your parents are growing old, your children are growing up. So there are so many things that play, and your appetite to take risk is going to come down, and your body is going to change, right? You will not have that energy. That 30 to 40 is the mark. Take the risk, save up, do whatever you want, explore, but that's the time. After 40, everything is going to change.
If you had to look back, would you say you have any regrets of not taking the US job or not sticking it out in Infosys?
No regrets. No regrets when it comes to the path that I chose. I do not have any regrets of not taking up the US job. But if I were to add, maybe one thing would be I wish I had started the financial planning earlier. Maybe I should have been more aggressive. But otherwise, no regrets. Life is too short to have regrets.
Absolutely. Hey, if you think you resonate with these stories and you think you have one worth sharing too, then please fill in the form in the pinned comments below and you can get featured on Win12.